Hi there, welcome back to our channel. Today we give you a piece of breaking news from OK Magazine. The release of the new book, Finding Freedom, is triggering a PR nightmare for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. When it was announced that Lady Colin Campbell's book, Meghan and Harry, The Real Story, was to be published a full 2 months before Finding Freedom, Meghan tried everything she could to bring forward the publication of Scobie's book, without much success. She seemed to think that once people read Finding Freedom, it would become obvious to the world why the couple had to flee the royal family. It would enable the public to understand how poorly she'd been treated while in the UK and how misunderstood she was. This book, Meghan felt, would explain everything, and with its publications, their actions would be vindicated, and the world would worship at her feet for the courage she showed in escaping the royal family confines. But it didn't quite work out that way, did it? And it was never going to, though she still doesn't seem to understand why. The public, both in the UK and many other places around the world, know how Meghan was welcomed into the royal family and how she got preferential treatment over all the other royal fiancés, including spending Christmas with the royal family at Sandringham. The public also know the shenanigans surrounding the pre-wedding saga of the Markle family until, on the day, the only representative on her side was Doria. By now, there were queries about Meghan's behavior, but the wedding was a triumph, and the UK public, at least, were prepared to welcome her into the royal family fold. To show that welcome was extended by the royal family, she was invited to accompany the Queen on a visit to Liverpool that included travel on the royal train, almost unheard of, and certainly for a newcomer in the family. Meghan was at the height of her powers within the royal family at that point, and she could have gone from strength to strength. But things started to slide, and stories began to emerge about her diva behavior. Staff finding her difficult, some problems while on tour in Australia, the obsessive hand-holding, arm-grabbing, desire to hold on to Harry as if she was afraid he might escape. It began to grate. The cost of her clothing escalated, and it caused concern. All little things, maybe, but they added up, and the way she behaved became more and more the subject of interest, and sadness, and concern. Meghan and Harry's progression downwards in the estimation of the British people is well known, but none of us, including the royal family, were ready for the final denouement. "I'm not thriving" was only the start of it. A successful trip to South Africa, and almost the first words out of Meghan's mouth were about her, not the plight of the people she saw and met in the country she had just visited, but herself. It didn't go down well at all. Then their holiday to Canada, which included Christmas, a return in January, and then the announcement they were going to live as half royals, doing the trips and duties they wanted to, but spending the rest of the time making zillions of dollars in order to become self-financing. The Queen said no, and Meghan fled back to Canada, leaving Harry to face the music alone. The public by this time were exasperated by the pair, though many were sad Harry was leaving. Everything was blamed on his wife, and it has been downhill ever since. Because of the way in which Meghan and Harry left the royal family in the lurch and told the nation of their intent before discussing their plans with the Queen, Prince Charles, and William, the pair lost all credibility. No amount of PR could make up for their behavior in January and the way they told the world they were going to Canada and then flipped to Los Angeles by private jet on March 26th confounded us even more. Privacy in Los Angeles seems like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Since their departure, the world has changed, and not just the pandemic closing borders. Other crises are creating a different mindset. They, meanwhile, continue to freeload in a borrowed house on someone else's dollar, seemingly unaware of their complete irrelevance in the grand scheme of things. Many of us have heard the estimated cost of their PR to date has been in the region of $1 million a month, but still their star has fallen almost below the horizon. Finding Freedom, far from enhancing their reputation, has shown them to be first-class complainers, totally removed from reality as possible to get. They will never, ever regain the same popularity they had just 2 years ago. Even a year ago, there was affection for them both, but they blew it, and Scobie and Durant's book has just made matters a whole lot worse. It is such a shame that things worked out the way they did. If she had only been less self-involved, more willing to take advice from those men in gray who have been advising all the royal family for so many years, she would have been a success, and Harry would have been happier. They could have negotiated a quiet life in the country, doing whatever appearances were absolutely necessary, bringing up Archie in peace and quiet, or they could have gone the Fab Four route. She could have had all the fame and recognition she wanted, but no, the dishwashing liquid teen within thought she was a major force for feminist change. She forgot the Queen is one of the biggest feminists in real terms. Maybe Her Majesty doesn't subscribe to feminism per se, but being the head of the firm and the Commonwealth for decades has ensured she is one. And to brazenly say she wanted to modernize the monarchy? Well, sorry dear, but we are very happy with our quaint old-fashioned monarchy just as it is. Everything was well planned. Just one problem. A shortage of time. Whatever she did was a great idea, but she needed at least 10 years, not one, so it went downhill very quickly. People know that 1 year is nothing. Even 5 years of marriage is still called newlywed, but she had no patience to wait for 10 years because she's already 40. 10 more years and she'll be 50, which means her longtime dream of being a Hollywood actress was going to shatter. So she picked up the pace, but that just ruined her big plans. Not to mention the lawsuits. More whining, more complaining, more poor me, more vitriol aimed at the royal family. That part in the book about their photo not being on the table during the Queen's address really sent me over the edge. How completely and utterly childish and small of them not to care about this, especially when the Queen's other children were not there either. They and Harry are not in the immediate line of succession. Harry should know better. Something's wrong in their heads, for sure. A royal fan from the US expressed this opinion. I'm from the US, and please, let me apologize on behalf of all Americans. We are deeply humiliated, embarrassed, mortified, and most of all, appalled. We are taught from a very young age to, number one, respect your elders. The utter gall of this woman to do as she has done and show such blatant disrespect to Her Royal Highness is unforgivable. Not only was Meghan Markle welcomed into the royal family with open arms, she was given her dream wedding, even though she didn't get the tiara she wanted. She had the future king walk her down the aisle. She had a carriage ride, and she was given a mansion, completely remodeled for her specifically to the tune of £2.2 million, all the while knowing she was going back home. She couldn't be bothered with the tradition of showing off her baby to the world like Prince William and Kate Middleton had done. She called all the shots. Anytime she didn't like something negative written about her, she cried racism. Now they're finding freedom in Los Angeles? Who does she think she's kidding here? She has no talent. Her father was well respected in his field. He used all his contacts trying to help her break into show business after he had cashed in on his retirement account for the college. And even with his inside help, she couldn't break into acting. She met and married, then used her husband's contacts to get the audition for Suits. Not even a popular show. Most people in the US had to Google her to see who she even was when it was announced she was dating Prince Harry. What a joke the story has been in this public version. And you, what do you think about this PR nightmare for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Please let us know in the comment section below, and remember to like and share this video if you loved it. And as always, subscribe to our channel for all the latest news on the royal family right here. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.